transition into the quadruple hoop trick where you have 2 hoops on each arm. I'm not really going to talk about how to do the trick quite so much, but just really how to get in and out of it. Maybe a few like different variations. I'll demonstrate the trick for you now, and I'll show you my favorite way to get into it. So that's the trick, and also some of the variations you can do with it. You need 4 hoops for this trick, obviously. And right now I'm using 2 sets of twins. And you can definitely do that. Just make sure that if you use, I have a set of 5/8 and a set of 3/4 here. I make sure that every time I either have both of my 3/4 in my hand or both of my 5/8 in my hand, so that I don't have one 3/4 on my hand and then the other 3/4 hoop on my upper arm. Okay, so from there, pretty much the couple of the key things you should know about this trick before getting into it. You want to try to keep 1 hoop above the elbow and 1 hoop in your hand. The hoop in your hand is the one you're going to control and manipulate with most of the tricks. And by separating the 2 hoops from the elbow, at the elbow, it's going to be a lot easier for you to keep them separate and to control them. And also, the last tip that I like to give people is whenever your hoops start to get off timing and the timings were going to start to get sloppy, if you just start balancing a little bit, that helps create more unity within the timing of the hoops. You'll see what I mean. I'll demonstrate it here in a minute. Okay, so if we're getting into this trick, we have to start either with all of the hoops moving one direction and all of the hoops moving either forward or backwards. I mean, you can try to do it in some crazy way to get 2 hoops moving forward and 2 hoops moving backward at the same time, but I find for those people that are new to this trick, you should just start with all 4 hoops going either forward or all 4 hoops going backwards, and then you'll be able to switch the ones that are in our hands like I was talking about before. So, I'm going to start with my favorite way. If you want to start with all 4 of them, starting in reverse, and then switching the hoop in your hands to start going forward, we are going to start like this, and I have both, all 4 hoops above my elbows like this. My arms are bent, and I'm holding them kind of down here at my hips on the outside of them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give all 4 of them a push backwards, and I'm gripping the outside hoops, these 2 purple ones right here. These are the ones I'm going to be holding in my hand. I'm gripping these with a pretty good grip, but I'm going to make contact with all 4. So all 4 will go in reverse, but only the outside 2 I'll have in my hands, and I'm going to separate them immediately after pushing them, as you're going to see. So I'm going to give it a push, 1, 2, 3, and then I separate. So the 2 hoops closest to my body stay above the elbow, but I can separate the 2 hoops on my hands by just straightening out my arms as I give them a push. Now, it might not come immediately right away, but that was, for me, the easiest way, and it's still my favorite way to do it. So I'm going to demonstrate again. You're just holding the hoops. You're going to be gripping my purple ones, the 2 outside ones, pretty well, but you're going to make sure to push all 4 of them. And after you give them a push, you're immediately going to straighten out your arms and separate the hoops. 1, 2, 3. There you go. And if they start to get off beat, like they're starting to with me now, like I said, give them a bounce. Look at how they start. Oh, a little too much bounce. A bounce can kind of get them back on the right timing. Okay. So another way that we can start this trick is simply by hooping backwards, or if we're going to start in reverse, we can hoop backwards, and then try to get our arms in. Ooh, let me try that again. And there you go. So for that one, you're literally just starting with all 4 hoops in your hands, and you're hooping in reverse, and you just try to work the second hoop. You start gripping the 2 outside ones, and you start trying to work that second hoop up your arm by giving it a little momentum and trying to stick your arm in there. It's kind of more difficult, that's why I don't like to use that one. Okay, another way to do this is to do an over-the-shoulder toss. This is going to be if we're starting to do the reverse version, or the forward versions now. So we'll do that really quick. I'll show you what it looks like. Oops, where I messed it up. One more time. With that one, the key trick is just to give them an even toss, and then you just have to watch and shoot your arms in through all 4 hoops. If you get really good, I'm sure you can get the 2 outside ones directly on your hands, but for me, I normally get the hoops and, you know, one might be on my elbow like it should be, but one might be on my wrist, so I have to just kind of wiggle it down until I get it in my hand. This is one of those tricks you're definitely going to have to play with a lot until you can feel comfortable with these hoops. Another way to get going forward, or to start this trick by going forward, is doing the same thing we did before by just starting with them on our hands and then working them up our arms. I don't know if that one looked quite as clean, but like I said before, you're just starting with all 4 hoops going forward in your hands. And then I grab the outside 2. And it's me grabbing the outside 2. It gets my wrist in between the outside and inside hoops, and that kind of pushes them, starts pushing them up my arm. And you're just going to give it momentum and push it until it gets up above that elbow. As soon as you get above the elbow, you're going. Another way to get into this move when all 4 hoops are going forward is to start with all 4 of them up here almost on your shoulders. You're going to be grabbing it up here over your shoulders with the arms bent. And I'm just going to kind of swing them forward to get some momentum and then push them back and get them all 4 going on my arm. Like this. And then you're just going to want to separate it by grabbing the outside hoop with each arm. In the beginning, I would recommend maybe trying 1 at a time. Like that. And just grabbing each hoop and separating it with the hand. That one's a little bit trickier, but definitely manageable. Trying to think if there are any other ways to get into that. I don't know if we did elbow hooping is a good way to get into that. Start with your elbows. And then when I take my arms straight out and extend them out to my sides, I'm going to hook the outside hoops with my thumb as well. Ta-da! Like that. Alright, so I'm sure there are more ways to get into that trick in both hoops in motion forward and reverse. Those are just a few of the ways that I know. If you have any questions, please let me know. There is one other trick I'd like to show you guys if you're starting to play with 4 hoops. There's a really cool way to get into it that's pretty easy. Again, if you don't have 4 matching hoops, if you have 2 sets of twins, that would work. Just make sure you have the hoops that are most similar. You want them to be opposite each other. So I have my 3/4 and my 5/8 in one hand and my 3/4 and my 5/8 in the other hand. I don't want both 3/4 and 3/4 in one hand and 5/8 and 5/8 in the other hand. You want to keep them balanced, you know? Okay, so this trick, I'm going to show you what it looks like. It's really fun, and I like it a lot, and people usually get it pretty easily. It's like that, and it's just a really fun way to start into quadruple hooping. All you're going to do is you're going to grip all 4 hoops, 2 in each hand, like I said before. And the hoop that's closest to you, because obviously you see how I have 1 clear polypro and then 1 purple polypro. This purple polypro is the one closest to me. See that? Alright. That one, I'm actually going to grip it, and I'm going to grip it just a little bit higher than the one in front of it, so it's almost like they're stacked on top of each other. So this is what the grip is going to look like. See, the purple one is on top of the polypro. Not completely, it's a little bit closer to my body still, but I'm holding it just a little bit higher. Both the ones closer to your body, for me, is both the purple ones. I'm going to hold a little bit higher. I'm going to do a coin flip. To give it some momentum, I'm going to push both of them in towards me, and then I'm going to coin flip them out towards the ball. And then they just pop open like magic. One more time. Holding them like this. Purple on top of regular Polypro.